The fastest show in sports.
If you're a university right now that is just focused on one sport and not multiple, or one that doesn't have college football or doesn't have or college basketball, you are going to fall way behind. It's the reality of it right now. And it's tough. Like I focus obviously on hockey, and I do a lot of college hockey stuff. And over the last 10 years, for people that don't really focus on it, don't know much about it, we've seen a lot of small schools, like no-name schools, start to build up programs, right? Like, who knew about Quinnipiac? In the not blue, they win a national championship a few years back, right? Or, you got other schools like Mercyhurst. It's just small schools like that are really building great hockey programs. And now all of a sudden, that's gone because of NIL. And then on top of that, you throw in, and this is specific to hockey, the fact now that junior players from Canada, before, if you played one game of junior hockey, you were never allowed to play college hockey. It didn't matter.
Right.
Because once you go up there, you take any form of a paycheck, you could not come down and play college hockey. Now those junior players are welcome, and a lot of them are transferring down.
Well, they have to be, because everybody's making money. Everybody's getting paid now.
So now all those junior teams are going to suffer too. And I know that's not happening in other sports, but what I'm saying is the money it's building the rich and the poor. There's no middle ground anymore in sports. And we're going to see that throughout in college right now. And I think a lot of schools, like I went to UMass, right? And UMass won a national title in hockey. Was it 2021? So it's only like 4 years ago. And they've been competitive every year. They've made the tournament every year. And I asked their coach, we had him on the eye test the other day, Greg Carville. I said, so are you guys recruiting heavy up on the juniors there and bring them down? And he goes, no. And he said, that they're happy with the European transfers they get, and they have a good pipeline in USHL. But I also look at it, and I did some Googling. They're also not making a lot of money as a whole, the whole school, athletic-wise, because their college basketball team stinks. They haven't been good since the mid-'90s. They probably arguably have the worst D1 football team in the history of college football. I mean, they've only won like 5 games in 5 years. So there's no money there, right? And so they're falling more into that category of a Mercyhurst or a Quinnipiac, even though they've got 30,000 kids at the school and they're a big state university, because they don't have that extra source of income to then shed off to the hockey. So you're going to see a lot of schools like that, I think, Ed. Even if they don't have the combo of football and basketball, they're not going to be able to compete when all's said and done.
Well, not only that, but now you have a salary cap. Now that the lawsuits have all been settled, well, not all settled, because there's going to be more lawsuits that are going to pop out. You've got salary caps now. You've also got schools that say, we're going to take care of the NIL. We're going to make sure that everybody gets a fair nut. Are you kidding? Stop snow jobbing me, please.
Yeah,
because we're going to go right back to the old days where there's a lot of money under the table. The boosters are all going to be there. There's going to be spitloads of money that at the big programs are still going to show up, because you're not going to stop the guy who owns the car dealership over here, who has always given $2 million to the local college because he loves the football and basketball. What do you think? He's going to stop? No.
Exactly.
He can just go ahead and make it a sponsorship deal then. He can start sponsoring if he's not doing it already. And then not only that, you get some more money under the table. I want to give him another $500,000. Well, we got to watch the cap. Well, wait a minute. Here's another $1 million. We'll slide it in under the surface here. That's what it's all going to be. We are right back to what was, it's the old saying, everything old is new again. College athletics is now once again the home of the haves and the have-nots. You've got schools like Ohio State that I believe has more varsity sports than any other school in America today. You've got other major schools like Miami, Texas,
Michigan,
Alabama, Michigan, even Boston College. Up where you are right now, Boston College is still one of those that hangs on what they have with their programs as well. UCLA's, Oregon, Washington, they're going to make the money. That's where the money's going to go. That's where the players are going to want to go. Look, if you go to a college football player, basketball, hockey, baseball, whatever, and say, okay, I'm going to go to school A. I'm going to get a contract there for $10,000 to play. Hey, that's not bad. $10,000 and I get an education. Sure, right. Okay, you get the education. Sorry, stop me if I start laughing uncontrollably here for a second. but you're going to get the education as well, but you're going to get $10,000. Wait a minute. The other school over here is offering me $80,000 to come play. I'm out.
Mhm.
Wait a minute. That's your dad's alma mater. Don't you want to go right near home? No, I want to go where they're paying me the most money.
Yep.
And it's a pro league. And that's
Yeah.
why you're also going to get down to this too, Murph, is where colleges are going to have a salary cap now, plus all their NIL money, and they're going to have to
Right.
dole out the money to the teams that make the money for them. That means 90% of the time, most of that money is going to go to the football players. Second, it's going to go to the basketball players. You've
Mhm.
got men's football, men's basketball, women's basketball. Hockey and baseball are going to finish way down the list. I mean, you've got some schools like, and I mentioned Ohio State, they're big on volleyball because volleyball's big in
Oh, yeah.
their area. So they have to do all that, and they have to make sure that that is also being fed. College is just pros junior now more than anything else. And I think in sports such as hockey, you're going to see that those haves and the have-nots are really going to shrink. You're going to have
Mhm.
the haves be in those major hockey schools. And what are there? Maybe in the country, maybe what? 30? I'm
Yeah.
guessing.
Maybe
I
a
don't
little
know.
less. Yeah.
Is there more or less?
No, I'd say maybe 25 to 30. It's in
Okay.
that in the
So there's
ballpark. Yep.
25 to 30 big hockey programs in America right now in college. That's where
Mhm.
everybody's going to want to go play.
Yeah.
Even the scrub players are going to want to go there. So you've got, here are the big teams, and I could say this for all of them. And for those of you on the audio side of things, don't worry about it. Just catch on the video. Where you've got football up here, and you've got basketball up here, and you've got volleyball up here in a lot of different areas. And you got hockey and baseball and some of the others. Soccer is also going to be up here because soccer
Mhm.
makes money at the college level. And all of them down here, haves and have-nots. It's a club program now.
Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens. Like I said, a lot of these programs who have built, and credit to them, they did a great job doing it. But a lot of those programs that have built up a great hockey program in the last 10 years, they're going to disappear because they're not going to be able to hang with the
Well,
other
they
ones.
have
And
to.
you
No,
bring
they
up,
won't disappear. They're not going to disappear. They're just going to. It used to be in college athletics, you had Division I, Division II, and Division III.
yeah,
And there was always a dollar amount on it because the big schools made all the money at Division I and they got the best players.
I think they're
Division
going to
II,
disappear. One, I think some of these schools will fall to a different division. I really do.
well, no, they have to. It's almost like a
Yeah,
relegation status in soccer at
exactly.
this point,
Exactly.
where
That's a
you've got
great.
Division One that's going to be up here. A lot of these
Mhm.
schools that have just gone ahead and added varsity sports over the years to basically make the money, they're going to have to drop because they can't afford it anymore. They're not the major sponsors, which is where the money is now through NIL and through the salary cap that's been decided. That money's going to go to the big schools. The schools are going to have to drop down to a Division II, and you're going to
Yeah.
have maybe even like the Quinnipiacs and some of the others are going to drop to a Division III. Because
Mhm.
how do you afford it? You still got to pay the coaches, and you got to pay the facilities, and you got to put money in the kitty. But if you don't
Yep.
have guys making that much money, your team's making that much money, you got to surrender.
Yeah.
Not
It's
only that, but
it's
you might have to get rid of some of the college baseball programs and the college hockey programs and the
yep.
swimming programs and even the tennis programs because it doesn't make money. You got
Yep.
to make money.
100%. I'm with you on that 100%. I had a question, sidebar here, Ed, on this topic. What's happening to some of the schools and players, individuals that maybe took some money and got caught in the past? Are they getting, because I saw something, will they be, compensated now, and or like the penalty or the,
No, no, you
you know,
can't.
but
You can't.
so for a school like, let's use UMass as an example, right? UMass made the Final Four in '96 because of the investigation into Marcus Camby, where he was taking gifts and cars, what have you, and all sorts of things from his agent, they lost their banner. They can't hang that Final Four
Right,
banner. Can
right.
schools go back and be rewarded those banners or
No,
recognition? Like,
you can't
okay,
go back because those were the rules at that time. It's like every other sport. If you have, for instance, a certain rule in a sport and then it changes, then you don't go back and you say that, well, these guys weren't involved in that rule, so we have to go back and we have to let their numbers in and their stats in. No,
right,
you don't do that. It's the same thing. Look, God, I can't believe I'm actually this name is gonna cross my lips. I'm gonna have to wash my mouth out with gasoline. It's the same thing as Pete Rose. Okay?
Oh yeah,
Pete
yeah,
broke the rules of the game, bet
yep.
on baseball, and he was busted out of the game. Those were the rules at the time. Rules at the time now, are players with gambling is legal, where the teams
Mm.
have gambling, where the players are now the subject of gambling, but they still can't bet. No, it's the same thing. You can't go back and all of a sudden say, I give you special dispensation.
Okay.
But now, what you do have is an argument where players are going to be saying, okay, look, uh, this player over here wagered on sports. He's a basketball player. He wagered on baseball games.
Mm-hmm.
He wagered legally on those baseball games. He did it through an app. It's allowed. In his state, it's allowed. And he's a private citizen in that sense. How can you then hold him up and say, well, you gambled, so we're going to kick you off the team right now? But I gambled legally.
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't figured this out yet.
And I didn't bet on my own team. I didn't bet against
Right.
my own team.
I didn't bet on my own team. I didn't bet on any player here. And not only that, I didn't even bet on my sport. Now, if a guy or a gal comes in and they bet on their team and their sport, gone. You're out immediately because then you get into game fixing.
Yep.
And that becomes an even bigger problem. And then you're going to have the gamblers are going to be on you at that point, and you'll have a gambler go out and find a guy who's got a crooked nose, and they'll come in and they'll visit you one day after practice and say, "You cost my guy $100. We have to talk."
That's all, folks.